she'll post that.
No need to know all of that shenanigans.
Is.
But anywho,
I'm Kara.
I'm Chris.
And we're the Midnight Band. We're back. We're just gonna call that summer vacation.
Yeah, I didn't have a babysitter for a whole month, so it was kind of hard to manage and maneuver and fucking work.
And I've been on vacation,
Yeah.
so I'm like planning a wedding, planning a bachelorette party, and I'm like, but I'm reading so hard in between.
You were like fucking killing it. It's taking me a while because now that Killian is he's getting more independent, but now he's very much play with me.
Yes.
Do this with me. We're like, you
Watch
need to be,
me.
Yeah, you need to be independent, and
Yeah.
I can only read at night right now.
Yeah, I have no shows to watch, so it's like the second I'm like off work or there's a break, I'm just like, what am I gonna read today?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going down our Excel list like
Yes.
a crackhead.
I know. See, I need to actually put it on my phone or something because most of the time I'll just go to the Books and Brews. Like I took a screenshot of just the authors, and I'm just kind of like
going through. That's why I sent it to you on Teams, so you can screenshot it on your phone. Don't you have Teams on your phone?
Yeah, but you think I remember that?
Well, now you know. Now you know.
Now you fucking know. I really should do that.
Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna do it right now while we are talking about
Here,
this.
I'll even send it to you one
One
more time.
Thanks.
And while we're doing that,
my brain has been fucking mush.
Yeah, I think we're just in summer brain. There's just like
honestly
too much going on.
Hey, but the 21st, I got the call on Monday. The 21st, boy goes back to school.
Hey.
He's super excited because he knows that his birthday is before that.
And yeah, so he's like, well, before school is my birthday, and we're gonna celebrate that, Mom.
Yep. I'm like trying to figure out.
All right,
what
we're actually. It to you. So you can screenshot it now. Look at that. Look at us getting this together. Boop boop.
Okay, we're gonna do this. Done. And we scroll. I'll scroll there.
People have been asking me for me to email them this Excel sheet.
It's a list, y'all.
So, because it's all horror or like smut, like or fantasy. And I mean, there's not even really like a lot of like fantasy in there, but it's really like horror, thriller, and smut. And I all the time am getting like, where are you getting your books? How do you pick? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'll send a Snapchat of like our Excel.
Yeah. And
people are like, can you email that to me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I got you.
That's all Kara too, by the way. Our Excel sheet is, because you're the one
You do the editing, I organize.
Yeah, I'm like, I will go in and I will find like the good, like I will give the recommendations to your books. Like, hey, I found this because like I am on Goodreads a lot. I am looking through all of that and finding more things to continue adding because I can never stop adding to
stuff.
Our TBR.
Yeah, there's no way that's ever gonna happen.
But then I give her all that info.
And I organize it, I lay it out.
That's all you.
But I gotta pull my weight. You know, I gotta pull my weight. You do the editing.
Yeah.
So it's a teamwork.
It's all good.
It's teamwork.
Wait, I think it's split pretty well because like I could not fucking do that. I'm not organized.
And I'm like, I love organizing.
Yeah,
I get off on it. Get off on organization.
At work, like if I have to organize, like I love like secretarial shit.
Yes.
But in personal life,
you're like, no.
Doesn't fucking happen. I try and I can't do it. But if it's all work related, I can. And you would think, but I think it's because I don't consider this work.
Yeah, I like my personal life to be on Excel sheets. Mm-hmm. Like my wedding is on an Excel sheet. Like my packing lists are on Excel sheets. Like I'm just like spreadsheets, Excel sheets. Like let's organize my life.
I like the stationery pen and paper.
Yeah, and I'm like, where'd that paper go?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I lost it.
I have so many journals. It's fucking ridiculous that are just blank.
I was like, they're all blank. I like every time I do like a donation to Goodwill, I'll throw like a couple journals in there. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe
I just
like
hoard them. Journals. I'm a dragon. I hoard.
Yeah,
so it's been a fun month off, I guess you can say.
Yeah, a little summer break for us, but we're happy to be back.
We're back. We have things planned. Yes. We are going to the Books and Brews Horror Convention
in Illinois
on August 3rd. So we're very excited. We actually won the giveaway from Nick. So we're going to be a special victims.
Me, I'm like, whoop, whoop, but also stab.
So I'm very excited to like actually get to meet him and then see other authors. And we're making like friends through the Books of Horror Facebook and things like
I've been adding people like to my Facebook friend group, like because we have such an interest in like the same books and at like a similar level, right? And a lot of these people that are in the group are like authors or trying to like kickstart their writing.
That is great.
And I love that. Like, we're not authors, but like I'm in here to like support you guys. I'm in here to read your shit. I want to do the brawls, like the indie book brawl. I've got that all saved up. I even have started some of the books and I've been able to be like, actually, like narrow a few out already.
It's exciting.
But it is. I'm excited to go. I've never been to a convention.
I know. I'm so excited like how this experience with you because I've been to multiple and this seems like I've been to the big shit, right? I've been to like the San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon,
the big cons,
things like that. Yeah. So and I feel like this isn't going to be as big.
It's definitely going to be smaller.
But like that's okay.
Yes.
That is okay.
It's a great starting point for me.
And it's books and it's going to be like
and I'm still going to be like fangirling like over quite a bit of authors that I've picked so far.
Because like we've been getting the physical books so we can actually bring them and get them signed. And
I know I'm like, stop buying physical books because you're going to be able to buy them there.
Like, I had to think about that too.
I've been reading some on Kindle and then I'm like noting if I want to like buy it from that author, like Blue Jay and like Quiet Pretty like things from Megan. I want to buy both of those books. Blue Jay, way different.
That's what you were saying. I probably should have started with that.
I know, and if I would have read it the other way, I would have been like, read Blue Jay first,
I'm kind of stuck on Quiet Pretty Things.
Yes.
But I think it's because I was going from reading like a horror to more of like a detective thriller. It's two different things in my head, and so it takes me a while to get into, but I am going to finish it.
But Blue Jay is a horror.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck is going on? I was like, she's going to like this book a lot more. But
sweet.
Anywho, we're here because we have 2 books this week from Nick Roberts. Again, shout out to Nick for those tickets and for letting us into his art group for the Exorcist House Genesis.
So good.
That was amazing.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. That'll be a spoil-free review because the book does not actually come out until September. So obviously we don't want to spoil it for you guys. But we also read Dead End Tunnel a while ago by Nick as well. So let's start with like Dead End Tunnel and just, thoughts.
Well, first off, Dead End Tunnel, he did post a TikTok of him actually going through.
Dude, was that tunnel. Not how you visioned it?
Yes.
I watched that TikTok and I was like, his writing is immaculate because that is exactly what I saw in my fucking head, dude.
In my mind, I saw it a little bit longer. But that's just how kind of like
in without the lights, and he did say like obviously like the lights were put, but like the coming into the tunnel.
Oh my god!
With the landscape around it and the dude, I was like. That's literally what I saw in my fucking head. And then he did Anathema. I'm gonna say it right this time. He showed, if you watch the same TikTok, he showed the duplex that was based on, and then he showed the farm that he based the Exorcist house off of too. And I was like,
these are all
the fact that he drew them from real life experiences and locations. I was like, you did such a good job writing that because that is.
He just does a good job writing in general and how he explains and how it can like be turned and pictured.
Very depictive.
Oh,
it's extremely depictive.
So good.
Great job. I mean, the TikTok made me so excited. I was like, what an amazing writer you are. To like literally give me that same thing that you were talking about and that you have seen, and I was able to envision. Like exactly the same thing.
Yeah, there's like little tweaks here and there because everyone's imagination is going to be a little different. But
for the most, I've never seen something so spot on. Like when they, make movies, books into movies, and I'm like, that is not how I saw that.
That is not.
But this, I was like,
Nick.
You dirty, dirty dog, you.
Well, I think it's also because he has that reference that's like right there, so it's going to be easier to depict it.
Yes.
But it was so good. And with Dead End Tunnel, I feel
it was a shorter.
It was definitely shorter in how, compared to his other books, it does have a different feel to it. Now it is still like the possession, like things kind of happening in that way.
It's spooky.
It is definitely spooky, but I loved the mix of Lovecraftian in there.
Dude, I was just gonna say, did you not get like the Lovecraft vibe
and
from that?
I love Lovecraft in general. Like, I love that shit. It's so H.P. Lovecraft is amazing.
Like,
but I think it's also because it always gets to me because a lot of his shit is otherworldly, and all like everything else, it's like a grand thing, and it freaks me the fuck out.
But at the same time, it's very relatable.
Yeah,
like the way he writes with this like otherworldly, like these like demons or like fictional creatures, right? But then like what the children are going through,
I know,
and what the parents are going through, like the way he's able to do both is incredibly amazing in all of his books. Like I can't say it's just for this book, but like all of his books, I think he does that so well.
And I think he does, like, I noticed that there are some authors that have a hard time writing in the view of children and writing in the view of adults. And
he does not. There's no issue here.
You can feel like, no, this is how, like,
I'm now 13.
Yeah.
And
I'd be doing the same
in my 30s telling you this story back. Like, so in Dead End Tunnel, it's like Maverick is like replaying the story in his head like 20 years later.
Yeah, because he was writing everything down before he went to confront the tunnel again.
Yeah, so he's like essentially telling the story, so you hear it from like his like point of view in his memory. But then once he starts like writing it down, you jump into the story, and then Maverick's 13. And it's very clear that like they're the same person, but there's a lot of growth to be had, and it's very clear that he's writing for a child.
Well, I like how in this book he'll be writing about it, and then he has like little side notes of like, if I'm now looking back at this, like that was fucking stupid. Like whatever.
Yeah. But it's about Maverick, it's like
because there's Maverick, Max, and Blake.
And is it Blake?
Is it Blake or
yes, it is Blake.
Okay.
Yep, Max, and Blake, and it's set in the 90s, right? So
very like, 90s. I mean,
like, oh yeah, such a good job at it, right? Like, I mean, we've got like walkie-talkies. At the beginning, his dad's ranting about it turning to the 2000s.
The Y2K,
dude, and he's like, because the numbers aren't supposed to go past 1999, and like,
I remember that shit because that's like I was 10 or 11.
I remember everybody's like, the world's gonna end.
Yeah,
Y2K,
and I'm like. Being up in Alaska, we're like, freaking whatever. We live off the grid anyway.
What's gonna happen?
No one was really bugging up there, but I remember it being such a big thing on the TV. Oh my god. But
yeah, this was good. I mean, it's Mav's birthday, and he's like sleep over with his best friends, and they're like, oh, let's go out to like, Dead End Tunnel, and I can't remember like why.
Because I remember this one because Max Key is from a family where mom went missing, and so it's just Max and dad's an alcoholic.
That's right.
Yes.
I forgot
so
mom
Max
went missing.
Is like on like the poor end, I guess you can say, like how it was kind of written. Blake is from a richer family. Dad's FBI. They're all trying to figure out who dad was.
They wanted to go to the 7-Eleven. That's why.
But you have to
go through the Dead End Tunnel.
Max was gonna buy Maverick or Mav, something from 7-Eleven. Oh, beer and cigarettes because he knew a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy.
We're
guy 13,
there.
But I know a guy.
And so they had to go through. Mav just got a new bike.
Yes.
And so
his red bike.
His red bike that was big back then too.
Yes.
Was able.
You grew up in the 90s. You fucking know. You know.
But he told Max, "Hey, you can ride this. You ride my bike there," because Max had an old ass
janky
but he
bike.
Knew how to fucking ride it.
He could ride that bike. They made that clear.
Yep,
he could ride that bike.
But yeah, so poor Max, they go riding in. They figure out how to get through the tunnel, how it's all like depicted because it's a one way, and so you had to like wait and honk,
to see if like make sure there was not another car coming in. There's like no lights. It's like dark AF. And mind you, they're going out at night.
It was like past midnight.
Yeah, because they were all like pretending to be asleep.
Mom came in.
Like such children. Like, I love it.
You're watching Event Horizon too, I believe, which I think was fucking perfect. He just knows how to throw those little things in
pieces in that make it so much more relatable, though.
Yes, and so they go through, and then something in the tunnel.
I did get like a Stranger Things vibe from what was going on in the tunnel.
Yes.
And then I read the Exorcist House Genesis.
Yeah.
And this is what I was going to bring up before. The spider.
Yeah.
Is it the spider from the tunnel?
Was that a spider, though?
I don't know. It was like almost depicted as like a spider-like creature.
I was reading. I thought he said it was tentacles.
Oh, it was tentacles. You're right.
So, like, but I could see that. Like, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't.
No, I think you're right. I think it was more tentacles.
That's why I was getting
Stranger Things. That's where I pulled that from.
Yeah, that's why I was getting more like Lovecraft, because it was tentacles. Yes. And whatever's. But the thing was attracted to red.
Yep, that red car came through.
Yep.
The kids.
They had to get like through the planks.
Was it Max the one?
Max is the one that got taken.
Yeah, so like this red car comes through and all of a sudden Max gone.
Max
like
is
they're
gone.
all leaned up, against the wall. The bike is gone and Max is gone. And so he's like about to go back. So he's going back and forth between like his childhood innocence and his like adult trauma.
Yeah.
Like back and forth before he's gonna go back to figure out how to get rid of the dead end tunnel or how to like stop this creature.
Yep. And it was all on his birthday.
I know, this poor dude.
But like he got roped in with all of this, finding what Max was going on, and then the family got roped in. The family wasn't fully believing him that Max was still talking to him because Max came back, but didn't.
He's like talking on the walkie-talkie. Like it gets eerie. It gets
real quick.
Nick.
Yeah.
He wastes no time.
Yeah.
Like, my man wastes no time. He wastes no time getting to the point, and that's why, like, I love him. Like, he gives you the necessary information about the characters. Not too much. Not too little. And then he moves his ass right along to the story. And I'm like, thank you. Because I don't love when I'm reading a book and we're 60% of the way through and I'm still learning about, like what
the fuck is going on? Like, the book I'm reading right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, we'll get to the fucking point.
Yeah.
There's none of that with Nick. Like I said, it got spooky really quick. I mean, by the time Maverick comes home and is like, he's missing, and then he's starting to like hear him on the walkie-talkie, and he's like, "No, I'm here." But
and
like it's like dark and what?
And I love how it really kicks off too. Is that they're talking about it, and then like the other families come to Mav's house and is like, "What the fuck's going on?" They tell the dad like, "Your son's missing," but then Mav's like, "I heard him on the walkie-talkie. He said this."
He's
and then
alive.
Max's dad is like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
because the same thing that happened to his wife.
Yeah,
like
it is a whole like fuck around, but he brings you back to it.
He really does, and I love that. Like we get the story as a child, and then it's him as an adult. He's moved away, but he's coming back, and now he's like, "Fuck this tunnel," and he has a whole plan to get rid of it.
Yep, he said, "I'm fucking done with this ass."
I definitely gave this a good rating because
I gave us all like 4.5 stars if I could out of 5.
Like I think what really got me too is like when Blake's family came up, and
yes.
And like my jaw kind of like dropped at that point for what like Blake's dad was having them do. Like dad, I'll say, possession. God,
he's such a good author.
I was like, fuck, man. And then having Mav's dad having to do shit at the end, like, oh my god.
And we're trying like not to spoil in case you like haven't read.
Yeah,
I mean, we're trying to like
we do spoilers, but at the same time, it's like
there are some things we don't want to like ruin for you if you've not read it,
especially when it comes to like horror and thriller books, because you really want that twist. Now, if it's a fantasy or a smut type book, okay,
we might dish the tea, like that's fine.
It's not because that's not going to ruin anything.
it. But these books. It's amazing. I don't know. Nick has become
one of my favorite authors.
Top 5, top 3 authors in the last year. And it's cool that we've continued to like seen him like grow in his writing and like extremely quickly.
Oh, I can't get comfy. There we go. I was thinking the other day too about if we had to list our top 3 authors, what would they be? And I was like, instantly, Nick Roberts is at the top of my list. For
sure. He's at the top of my list, too.
Like, I've always said that Laurell K. Hamilton has always been one of my favorite authors. But I think that's, like, what really got me into the paranormal, the vampires, you know, shit like that. Yeah. Along with the smutty. She's a nice blend.
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, and then Sarah, I was like, it was gonna be.
I don't know anybody else that, like, builds worlds like that.
I know. I was like, it was gonna be Nick. And then it was going to be Sarah, and then I think it would end up being Laurell, because Laurel's always kind of been my go-to. Mm-hmm. But story building and writing now, it's those two as I've gotten older. Yes. For sure. That and Chantel.
Yeah, but I love Chantel as well. Like, there are quite a few, like, H.D. Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are quite a few authors, and, like, just depending on, you know.
It depends on the genre. So I'm like, but, like, horror-wise, it's definitely
Nick is up there for me. Like, mm-hmm. I said this when we read Exorcist House, and I said it in my review on Exorcist House Genesis, that he is the Stephen King of our generation. Yep. Some people are like, fuck Stephen King. Like, I don't really care what you think about Stephen King. He was an amazing author. Oh, yeah. Is an amazing author, but, like, really was an amazing author in, like, the 90s, 2000s. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in his prime, if you will. Yeah. That is what Nick is fucking giving us as a newer author. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, if you can only go up from here, sir. Yeah. And it's going to be wild. Yep. And then we got Exorcist House Genesis. And I was like, dude, I finished and I could not.
It took days to process.
I could not. Dude, the whole last, like, 15% of the book, I was like this.
Yep.
And then I finished the book and I was like this.
All I will say is
for days,
that fucker made me cry in Genesis House.
I did too.
Or, you know, house, whatever, for Genesis.
Yeah. Like, I cried too.
I fucking cried. And I was like, you bitch.
You bitch.
I literally, like, was reading a section.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, because I cried too. We'll talk about this after.
Uh-huh. We're not ruining it.
We can't do any spoilers. We signed up for this. So, no spoilers, but there's a section, and, like, I'm, of course, reading it on the Kindle, and I sat, you know, I think it was, Killian was asleep, taking his nap, and I'm on the chair, and I just put the Kindle down.
That's why I kept being like, where are you at?
I know! So I could, like, not spoil anything. Well, there's that fucking section, and yep, I put the Kindle down, and I just, tears down my face, and I wipe my tears off, I'm like, you fucking bitch.
And then I was like, there's no way he did that. Right? I was like, there's no way Nick followed through on that. And then at the end of the book, I was like,
oh no. I think we're talking about 2 different scenes. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. We are talking about 2 different scenes. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We're talking about 2 different scenes, 2 different people.
But
both with yours were emotional.
But with yours, my jaw fucking dropped.
Dude, I was like, he did not do that. Yeah. And then he, like, reiterated at the end, I sure as fuck did do that to you. Which, thank you for the clarification. Also, fuck you.
I loved, so in the Exorcist Genesis, he wrote in the back for, like, I think it's the acknowledgements and things like that, he, as fans of his writing, they really wanted a prequel and, like,
to
a
Exorcist
sequel.
House.
The Genesis is such a nice blend, because you get more of Merle's backstory.
So you get prequel on Merle a bit.
But you also get what's going on after.
So it's like a prequel sequel.
I thought it would.
How you do that, I don't know, but I loved it.
But also how he did is, like, you find out what else is going on with Merle, what is going on with this. I mean, because we know it's a demon. That's not a spoiler
and
at all.
And you know Merle has lived in this house, right?
Yep. And so this is when he was still living in the house, but he came across this demon that is now haunting, or, like, trying to get the Hill family to come
back to the haunted house. Yes. After they've already left. Yeah. So you hear, like, it's like 1967. And so, like, we learn about Merle during that time.
Jumps forward to 97.
Yep, and you're, like, back with the Hill family after they've left the Exorcist house. Which was wild, because I'm like, well, if they're not there, how is this going to happen? Homie made it happen.
Yep.
This is not, like, a big spoiler.
I know, we're trying to be like, how do we say this?
But Adam, which is Daniel's brother.
Yep.
And they mentioned him in the first books. Remember, Daniel called him all drunk, and he was like, all this crazy shit happened at the house, and he was like, just kidding, I was drunk.
Yep.
Adam is the dumbest
shithead.
Yep. Dude, every time Adam's like name came up, dude, like my eyes twitching. Every time his name came up, I was like,
because like he was definitely like, even in like the first book, he was definitely one of those like, oh, the younger brother, like I'm gonna do what I want, but he's also like a moocher almost, you know, like trying to get away, you know, things like that.
Yeah, he doesn't really like want to work too hard. He just like wants, get what he needs.
He saw the Exorcist like the farmhouse as a money grab, and then guess what, motherfucker?
Which, to be fair, that's what Daniel saw it as in the first book because of the plants that were coming in, and so they were, you know, like.
But Adam had a different money grab on it. I loved that reference of Amityville Horror.
Yes. Okay, so I just want to say, Nick is very clear that he is building us a universe here. If I were to read Nick's books in this universe, which I have, and then I were to watch Amityville.
Oh, yeah.
Nick puts Amityville to shame.
Fucking yes.
Just Amityville, and I love Amityville horror. Yeah. I love it.
I went down a rabbit hole on that.
This shit is like, it's so much more relatable. Like with his, again, he does such a good job with like the fiction and like the fiction's fantasy, right? Not real.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that conversation. We're like, which one is it? Yes.
This is why I'm not another. That's why I just read books. But, like, to take the fantasy portion and then to take, like, the real life experiences and feelings, he does a really good job at blending the two.
Well, I think what it is with it being relatable is because most of the time these people are like, this isn't fucking real. And it makes them believe. And and they are struggling with their own beliefs.
And then you're struggling along with them.
Which is how it would be. Like, I believe in possession and ghosts and shit. Like, I've seen shit. We've had that discussion. I believe we've posted before. Like, we've had that. So, but if I was fully put into a situation like that, I would still be fighting with myself.
Your internal self of, did I see that? Did I hear that? That didn't actually happen. My brain's playing tricks on me. Like, we rationalize in so many different ways. And Nick's characters do that too.
And I love it. I'm like, I'm doing the same fucking thing.
I would also be like, there ain't nothing in that corner. Let me...
Even for the characters that are like, okay, I believe to an extent, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're still fighting with themselves of like...
Mentally, internally, like...
Do I need more sleep?
Yeah, like, am I just really tired?
Like,
or, like, do I need another cup of coffee?
Like, what is going on? Or they're like, fuck this house, I'm out.
Yep, I'm gone.
We're not doing it anymore.
But I thought it was really good.
It's so good. They got, potty time. I have an alarm for him to go potty.
I love it. But it was good. I wish we could give you guys, like, more.
Oh, my God. I can say there are definite Easter eggs from all of his other books.
Dude, I want to call out one of the Easter eggs at the end when Mom went and shut the door, the closet door. And got caught on the stuffed panda. Dude, I literally went, oh.
I was like, no.
I was like, oh. But
if you know, you know.
The number of times we heard, like Dead End Tunnel, or It Haunts the Mind, or Anathema. Like, it is very fucking clear he is tying the books together.
Well, the thing is, like, we knew Anathema was going to be related, because if you've read Anathema, then you know who Marin is.
Yes.
And who she is related to. Which I loved how he ended this fucking book.
Because
then you turn around and you can just read Anathema.
I'm like, so am I getting another one, or do we read Anathema? And then he made that post, and I was like, oh shit.
The next, I think what's going to round out this universe that he's created is Anathema, because it's going to be a sequel.
Yes, to Anathema. Yes, so it'll be a whole, just read them all.
Yeah.
Just go read all of his books.
Yeah, I think, and he did post, what's the fucking reading order now? It was...
Yeah, he did have a post on it. Let me see if I can...
Because there's, like, if you're going to read these and you want it in a consecutive storyline of how everything lines up with the universe... This is how you should
do it.
Yeah, I want to say... Fucking... Wasn't it I think it's going to be Genesis? No. You can tandem read Genesis and Exorcist House.
But he did put up like an order.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it here.
Pause.
Nick,
note to self.
You post too much shit.
I know.
Okay, so Exorcist House, Genesis, Merle's chapters, It Haunts the Mind, short story in the titular collection, then the Exorcist House, then Exorcist House, Genesis, family chapters. So I would really say It Haunts the Mind, Exorcist House, Genesis, Anathema, and then Anathema Legacies coming out in 2025. So I feel like the way he has it with like Merle's chapters, It Haunts the Mind, Exorcist House, then Genesis with the Hill chapters, I agree with, but I also feel like Anathema should come between Exorcist House and Genesis, or before, because you kind of want to know.
I think
it would have to become in between, because you'd want to be able to tie in who she is. Okay. Well, that would just be my opinion, but Nick's post says as such.
Yeah.
Again, I thought it was a great book. I gave Genesis 5 out of 5 stars. Like, I couldn't say enough good things about it. I didn't have really any negative feedback to give. So.
Me neither. The only thing, like, when we first got this, and he mentioned in the art group something about, oh yeah, and Buck is back too. I posted a gif of like the two like fisticuffs of like, if anything fucking happens, is this dog, Nick, you're catching these hands in August.
Fucking lose it.
And then it came, I read everything and I was like, all right, you had me there for a moment.
He is back.
Yes, but there was a moment in that book where I was like,
yes,
Nick, you're about to catch these fucking hands.
I was like, you're gonna catch my hands. And then it was fine.
It was okay. And I was like, all right. I'm like, I don't give a shit about everybody else. For everything else that happened in the book, I was like, fucking whatever. I'm like, that dog gets fucking hurt. I fell in love with that dog.
I did too. And the fact that he's like their family dog now, the Hills family dog,
yes.
makes it like, I was like, Buck, if something happens to Buck, you getting fucked.
Yes.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. But like, I also thought too is, I think I put it in my review too, the only little quip is like, I wish we knew more about how Buck came to Merle and how he like trained him. Things
like, because he's such a fucking trained ass dog.
And like, he knows like
the specific whistle
and everything. I was like, I wish we got a little bit, like just a little couple paragraphs of like him and like
Merle bonding, and like how Merle maybe like trained him, or like
Buck is a good
he's a good portion of the story. So
yeah,
it's like
saving this family, man.
I want to know, because it almost, to me, like Merle and Buck like go together, because
yes,
he's always like, even if like in Genesis he goes to the institution, Merle does.
Yeah,
Buck's not there, but he comes home and fucking vents to Buck. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's like it's his only friend almost. Mm-hmm. Like, well, there for a minute. But yeah, it's like
family.
This is his dog. But
yeah.
It was a great book. Can't wait to buy the actual book. Maybe he'll have them at the con. I don't know. That seems a little early, but a girl can pray.
I know.
But yeah, we'll be back, and we're gonna hit some like other horror authors from the convention, and we're gonna try to hit some spooky movies too, and we have a big ass list of books to record.
Yeah,
so it's just a matter of getting them done.
Exactly. And now that we're gonna try and record up for October and things like that, because you're gonna be gone. Like, there's a lot of shit happening these next couple months, so a lot of them are gonna be more horror related.
I'm on a horror kick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and because we're
getting ready for the convention.
Like, how stupid if we went to a horror convention and I'm like, oh, I've only read like 3 of these 40 authors. Yeah. Like, no, I'm trying to read like a good half of the authors before we go. Yeah. So we have a lot of horror coming.
Yeah. So be prepared. We're getting ready for spooky season.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 4th of July passed. It was last week.
Season.
It is now. The spooky season. That's my ghost wave. I don't know why it's up here and like not down here, but it's up here.
I'm like,
you're needing them. Well, we'll be back with either a spooky movie or a spooky book. Bye. Happy Thursday.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to see more from us, you can find us on Instagram at The Midnight Babes Podcast and on TikTok at The Midnight Babes. Stay spooky, friends.